How a fierce gale of wind developed. I want you to see from the book of Job that sometimes these weather phenomena can be demonic. And that's basically what's going on here. Jesus is on his way over to confront Satan, and Satan is trying to find a way to keep him from doing that. The Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? For there is no one like him, a man blameless and upright, fearing God and turning away from evil." Then Satan answered, "Does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge about him and his house and all that he has on every side?" You might wonder, why is Satan having a conversation with God? Well, Satan, of course, is one of God's creatures, an angel, and angels have access to God's throne room. And Satan is our accuser. That's what the word Satan means. And he's looking to stir up accusations against people to disrupt their life. And Satan thought maybe Job was being such a good guy because God had been so kind to him. And so Satan pointed that out. "You have blessed him, or blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land." Of course, someone like that's going to be pretty pro-God. "But put forth your hand now and touch all that he has. He will surely curse you to your face." So Satan's trying to incite God against Job. And you might think, poor Job. We have a proverb, "Oh, the suffering of Job." It's like someone that's got so much suffering that how can they possibly endure it? It's like the suffering of Job. And Job indeed did suffer. And you might wonder, why would God allow suffering one of his faithful servants? Even one on this level that there's no peer. He is such a faithful servant. Went way out of his way to be a good servant of God. So you might wonder, why is this going on? Well, God always has a purpose behind these things. It's not always a purpose that is understandable in the moment, but from the future, looking back, you can see the purpose that God had. And Job didn't know, and none of the accusers that came to Job and said, "Oh, brother, you've got some unconfessed sin in your life. That's why this is all happening." None of them knew anything about this conversation that was taking place in heaven. But God wanted us to know. God wanted us to know that sometimes tragedies come and his people suffer. But there's always a good, holy purpose behind it that leads everything to good for those who love God, according to Romans 8:28. "He will surely curse you to your face." That was the challenge that Satan gave. Then the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not put forth your hand on him." Fine, take away all of his blessings. Just don't hurt him personally. That was the first round between Satan and God. And Satan, of course, went and did some things. And Job started to get some bad reports about his cattle being lost and so forth. And then you jump down to verse 18, and it says this: "Your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. And behold, a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the four corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they died. And I alone have escaped to tell you." Satan can cause great weather phenomena that is very destructive. Not apart from God's overseeing everything and making sure that there's a limit to what tragedy can happen. And sometimes tragedy actually has a good outcome. It's hard to say that to someone who's in the midst of suffering, but it's true. God knows what he's doing. God doesn't allow anything to disrupt his plan, which his plan, of course, is to bring his kingdom to earth so that everything is fixed and there is no more tragedy.